Hello, welcome to Math 1324. This is Chapter 10, Section 1, Example 1. In this example, we want to define a relation and a function. Now, the reason that we want to do this is because this chapter is going to be dealing with functions. But in order to understand a function, we have to understand relations. Now, a relation in mathematics is the following. So a relation is basically, well, the simplest way of saying it is that it is a set of coordinates. And that's really it. With a set of coordinates, though, there comes a few different possibilities, or a few different important concepts. The first is the idea of domain. The domain for any relation is just the set of all independent values of the relation. So it's the set of all independent values in a relation. Now, whenever we say independent values, we really just mean the first coordinate usually. It really depends on what the relation is talking about, but generally speaking for us, it's going to be the first coordinate. And usually for us, what this really is going to mean, now this won't always be this way, but it will usually mean this. It's going to mean this, all x values. And that's pretty much it. Now, the way that we talk about that is going to be different depending on what type of relation it is. So if it's a relation with just a bunch of points everywhere, then the domain can just be listed individually. If it's a relation that is made up of curves, like a bunch of put your pencil down and start drawing, you have literally an infinite number of independent values, and also dependent values at that point. And so as a result, you would have to, well, you may not have an infinite number of dependent ones, but as a result, you would have to find some other way of writing down your domain. You wouldn't just do it in a set format. You would, at that point, try to do it in what we call interval notation. Now, we did a little bit of that before, but we'll do a lot more of that here. As for the next one, we have range. The range is very similar to the domain in the sense that it is the set of all dependent values in a relation. Okay, that's really all it is. It's very similar to domain. It's just for the y-axis generally this time. And as I said, since it's y-axis generally for us, we're going to say all y values is what we're going to think of for the range. Now, it's not always going to be y, just that's what a lot of people think of it as. Good deal. Now, this is talking about all relations. If we expand this, well, not really expand this, if we contrast this to functions, functions are just a special type of relation. Okay, so for a function, it is, in fact, a relation, which is the reason that we needed to talk about relations to begin with. But it is a relation in which each independent value corresponds to exactly one dependent value. And that is the definition of a function. So to put it in simpler terms for us, though, let's go ahead and write down this. What a lot of people say here is that no x's repeat, or the x's don't repeat, or something like that. Another way of thinking about that is the vertical line test. And the vertical line test is going to tell us whether or not a relation is a function. And I think a lot of y'all know what that is already. Basically, it is if you take any vertical line through a relation, if it only crosses at most one time for any vertical line that you can draw, then it is a function because there are no 2 points on top of another. In other words, if you ever have 2 points on top of another, then it is not a function. It's just a relation. Alrighty. Well, that's kind of a minor introduction here. We're going to talk a lot more about what's happening here, but for now, this is pretty much it. Alrighty. Well, I will see you all in the next video. Have fun.